My name is Rotimi Amaechi. I'm a Nigerian. I don't know how I feel. Well, as usual, it's great. I don't know. You've explained the process. If actually Nigerians participated, then it's great to know that Nigerians can still remember that I served the nation, and that I did my service to the nation, that they were pleased with the service. If they were, then I am grateful. No comment. I don't discuss politics. Nobody has put me on TV for me to discuss politics. It's not for it's not because of I'm not a coward. It's not cowardice. It is more because I'm angry with the citizens. Yeah, I've said it several times. You can't see a group of people stealing your money, impoverishing you. You can't buy fuel. You can't buy anything. Nothing. And then you're still look at what happened in Edo. Should any politician be campaigning in Edo? People should be angry. There should be protests. Not even protests of against anybody. It's against politicians. We will not vote. There will be an election in our state. That's what the people should be saying. Because the rate of hunger now, if people like us can't afford diesel, you can imagine what's happening to my mother. And okay, but it's not put my mother because I will defend my mother. Those who don't have children like us, though my mother is still alive, and there are those whose parents are still alive that can't afford. Uh, in fact, somebody said, well, what this government has achieved is that it has made Nigerians to be strong in the sense that Nigerians now trek. I know walking helps the heart. So people have learned how to walk to their offices. But please don't put me into politics. I'm not interested. When at the right time, I will discuss politics. Not now. Right. Name one politician that is in the space in Port Harcourt that didn't pass through me. They can't stand hunger. Liberty has become the capital of betrayers. Name one. Just name one. Sim was an accountant under me. He was an accountant to Wike when Wike was chairman. When I became governor, Wike was made. Unfortunately, I don't know why I'm calling his name. I've made my this. I don't want to call his name. When I became governor, he became chief of staff. He brought him. Name one. Just name one person. Name anybody you know. Just in Nigeria, any reverse politician you know that didn't pass through me. The other people you can name will be people like Prince Uche Secondus, who are contemporaries. Right? Yeah. Maybe Senator Lee. The rest. Name, just name. So it's not about mentorship. It's about hunger. A lot of them are hungry. They can't manage the situations. When we joined politics, I joined politics at a very young age. I don't know why you're making me discuss politics. I joined politics at the age of 22. There were two camps. Rufus had a George camp, very poor and broke. We hardly have food to eat. Abule's camp, very rich. He had a bank, everybody was rushing there, you get money when you see him. But those of us who bothered about character, because my father taught me about character, stood with Rufus. We were steadfast with Rufus. We didn't know whether we would win or not. But we stood with Rufus. At the end of the day, God delivered us. And we became government. He became governor, I became special assistant. The same with Odile. Odile didn't have money. But we stood with Odile. It's about character. The crop of politicians by then are different from the crop of politicians you have now. What governs the crop of politicians now is not about ideas. We were not shooting. You're dragging me to politics. It's not right. When the time comes, I will speak about politics. How can they? For anybody who passed through me, the first thing you learn is honesty. So are they honest? If they're honest, then they've done well now. That's the first thing you learn. The second thing you learn is service to the people. The third thing you learn is don't take anybody's life. Let me quote President Jonathan. No life is worth my ambition. You will not see me any day in any political meeting planning for talks. You will not see me say, take money, this is for talks. I will not. You know why? My priest tells me that anybody who dies in the course of that money, you'll be held accountable. The society may not hold you accountable. The society may not imprison you because you're a big man, but you should be in prison. But God, you will not go to heaven because God will hold you accountable. And I tell my priest every day, I don't want to miss heaven. And that's what I teach my children. That's what my wife will tell you. That's what we pray every day, that we would like to go to heaven. So, why I mentioned the one of Rufus and Abule was when we were hungry. Anybody who told you I was not hungry under Rufus? I married my wife. If you check, there's one photo they circulate in social media. The highest thing in our wedding was Coke and Fanta. You're laughing. I managed to buy wedding gown for my wife. What about me? You can see what I was wearing. But I'm sure we won't do this, so you know my character. When they say he's stubborn, I'm not stubborn, I'm principled. Let one person, including my former boss, say that I've betrayed him before. He has written his book, I will reply, because he will see whether I did or not when I tell my own story. You will see. I hold that principle that if you are a man I have reached an agreement with, I will stick to that agreement until I die. So when people see me stick to such agreements, they say, oh, a politician is supposed to be amenable to changes. What changes? You just compromise your character. I won't compromise my character. Not even hunger. Not even hunger will make me compromise my character. And that's what I teach my children. Money is not all that you need. You need God. You need your character. Again, I don't know. I usually tell people that whatever assignment I'm given, I discharge it responsibly. When you're given an assignment, the indication is that they expect that you deliver results. So I was given the assignment of being the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. I think the country knew that we were about the best House of Assembly in that period. We got training approvals by the USAID. So we were among those the houses they took to America, and the government didn't need to pay anything. We got to America, we were trained. They were pleased to nominate us as one of the best houses. We passed several laws that impacted on the lives of our people. We cared about. There were innovations in legislative debates. We ensured that most of the laws that you see them implementing in Rivers State, even though some of them have been implemented, what Nigerians will refer to as upside down, were passed on when I was speaker. We abolished those traditional decisions that they were using against women, like if your husband died, they need to bury you and give you water to drink. All those things, we abolished those traditional practices to enable women have their freedom, whether educated or not. In that time, our budget, we monitored budget. We ensured that budgets were seriously implemented, not governors who pass budget and put it under this and implement whatever is in there. Then when I became governor, that's there for Nigerians to confirm if I achieved what I thought I should achieve. Virtually, literally, in every village, you had a primary school and you had a primary healthcare center. By the time I came, Rivers State government, in the employment of Rivers State government, we had 200 doctors. By the time I left, there were 600 doctors. The 600 doctors had 600 cars bought for them by the Rivers State government because there was competition. Because there were no doctors in Nigeria, so the few you can get, the better for you. And then we started training doctors overseas. They were the people that the man who took over from me had to bring back, those who couldn't graduate while I was in office. But a lot of them graduated while I was in office, and they were in the employment of the Rivers State government. There were those who couldn't come back, not because we didn't want them back, but they took citizenship of Canada, but because they were doctors. And then we trained engineers, and the selection process was transparent. In fact, when I discovered I was going to be cheating, and what I mean by cheating is you can't get a man who is in a local primary school compete with a rich man's son in Port Harcourt school. So we set two types of exams, one for those who were in the rural areas and one for those who were in the city. Because if you go by that standard, most poor people will not have the opportunity of being trained by the government under the scholarship. So those who passed the entrance exams were trained overseas. trained overseas. We did not discriminate against Nigerians. Once you lived in Port Harcourt, whether you're so-called Igbo or you're so-called Hausa or Fulani or Yoruba, whatever they called you, we considered you as a citizen of River State. Because you couldn't have lived in River State for 20 years, 30 years. You had your children in River State, you pay taxes, and they say you're an Igbo man. What Igbo man are you? You're a Rivers man as far as I was concerned. And so we split the scholarship into 24, 20 per local government. So, and we had 23 local government areas. So the so-called non-indigenous, as they call them, I call them Nigerians in River State, we are given the 24th slot. So each had 20% like that, and that's how we split them. And they were all, I met one lady who came to thank me here, and she said she's Igbo, but her father lived all his life in River State as a medical doctor, treated Rivers people, paid taxes, did business in River State, and they said they're Igbos. So when she told me she's Igbo, I said, where do you live now? She says, well, she lives in Abuja, but all her family members are in Port Harcourt. So, and as she got the scholarship, she had to do a master's degree in the UK, fully funded by the River State government. There were a few of them who, when they got the scholarship, when they finished the master's, the remaining fund for them, because we paid almost all their license, the remaining fund for them, they started the master's degree for those who did the first degree. Those who went to do their masters, after the end of the master, the money that remained, they used it to start their PhD. But unfortunately, there were those who couldn't graduate while I was in office, and there was a big mistake I made. If I knew that some governors would be responsible to bring them back, I would have paid 100% of their school fees. I would have, even if it meant borrowing. But I thought, these guys are already in school, they've done 2 years, some of them are in their final year, so you just allow them, and all that was remaining to allow them graduate, and then you can abolish the program, was just 3 billion naira. And they were thrown back to Nigeria. What will make you laugh? We then went into an agreement with the German government to train artisans, educate artisans in Nigeria. And then they will write the same exam as those in Germany. If they pass, they were given German citizenship, and then they can then go to university. The first year of the program, this man came and abolished it. And the guys were bitter. They wrote to President Buhari. So that's education. And these people being trained overseas, they were not just in Canada, they were all over. They were in Asia, they were in Europe, they were in America, and they were all fully funded by the River State government because we thought education was key. Then we also had a common entrance exam for people who were in the rural areas and Port Harcourt. If you pass from primary school and you pass the exam, we took you to a lot of the secondary schools all over the country. Why? Because at that time, when we became governor, people like us, and most River people, primary school, Port Harcourt, secondary school, Port Harcourt, University of Port Harcourt, or River State University of Science. How do you compete with somebody who has his first degree in King's College, King's College London, or University of London? Now, so you now look at it and say to yourself, so the best thing to do is to disperse our citizens to various secondary schools in the country. So they were all over the country and fully funded. In fact, I remember that the Babangidas invited me to the graduation of our people in the school in Mina. There were those in school in Kwara. There were those at, what was this woman in Bakassi? Senator. Anyway, when they go on vacation, she takes them. She doesn't allow them come back to Port Harcourt. But see how far they were. And she was very pleased. Now, that's education. In the case of health, we built primary healthcare centers in literally every village and hired doctors in those primary healthcare centers. We bought, in those healthcare centers, we bought each healthcare center, primary healthcare center, we bought an ambulance, built a 2-bedroom flat for the doctor, and 2-bedroom flat for 2 nurses. We employed nurses. There was a ban on employment of nurses. We employed nurses all over. We hired 13,200 teachers. And we didn't discriminate because, first of all, you can't discriminate in the deployment of teachers because they're not there. So you can't say, I'll get these 13,200 teachers only from River State because River State didn't have the capacity to produce 13,200 teachers. And you believe that in all of that 13,200 teachers, there were only 3,000 that were teachers. The rest were just graduates looking for employment. So what did we do? We got them out, put them into what they call this? This is now we turned it into a university. If not, it was College of Education, Roma Lumini. We now turned it into University of Education, Rumolimen. But we got them in there to study for 6 months on how to be a teacher. And once they graduated, posted them out. We hired teachers or lecturers for the Body Polytechnic. That's education. That's healthcare. We built 2 or 3 general hospitals. We were the only country that had dental hospital, independent from a general hospital, with over 13 or 14 seats. All those things have been, if you go there now, you just say, what kind of country is this? We had, what's this farm? This farm in Benin Republic is a Nigerian priest that has it, that owns it. We established it in Port Harcourt, not because we were looking for a farm, but because we wanted to create employment. We had a banana farm owned by a Mexican with Rivers State government, just because we want to hire. By the time it was shut down, they had hired over 2,000 workers. So you have to have passion, not compassion. Compassion is pity. You pity your employer. The people are your employers. But you have to have compassion. You have to enjoy what you're doing. Right? We built rural roads. By the time we left office, we had done 5 to 6 flyovers. Did you hear us make noise? The flyovers are there. One at Woji, one at Education, no, Hardship. We fixed the flyover at Air Force Base because it had collapsed. Right? We built the one at Obirikwere. We did the one that's going to Aba. That place used to be bad. We had to do an interchange. So we had done 5. We were building the 6th one at Transamade. But you see, so you utilize the money that was paid to you for the people. And I challenge anybody who has served after me to prove to have done better. Because we didn't focus just on road, we knew what economics was about. We knew when the people were broke, we knew when the situation was bad. What were the indices? Once you see rise in crime, you know that there's no money in circulation. So you paid salaries, you paid contractors. The more contracts you awarded, the more jobs you created. The more payments you made, the more money is in circulation, the more you reduce crime. And if you're doing that, how do you acquire wealth? Any governor you see that has acquired wealth is therefore not working. Because the money you used to work is the money you have acquired. So when anybody comes out and says, I'm working, so let me show you what they have done. I have specifically named that in every village we had primary school. When we came, primary schools had 150 persons in the state capital, 150 persons in a classroom. We reduced it to 30 in a classroom. The unit servicing was 25. In UK, it's 30. But I don't know whether they've gone back to 150. But when we were there, it's 30 persons per class. Because the teacher-student relationship. We retrained our teachers. We completed the power project in Port Harcourt, started by Dr. Dile, and introduced a new power project. By the time we were leaving, we had 450 megawatts of power, heading to 700. So the power requirement in Port Harcourt wasn't the problem, it was distribution. And we had started the process of distribution when we left. Till today, nobody has added anything onto that distribution. So while we had generating plants, you didn't have distribution networks. And that was for the federal government. We wrote to the federal government to hand over the distribution network of Rivers State to us. They say, no, we should bid. We bidded and we won. All that has been abandoned, but that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about what could have qualified you to win an award. And there was this crisis that happened and I was laughing. I was at the airport alone and reading my book, and somebody attacked me, Charlie boy, and all that. My neighbor supposed to say, no, that's not, that means you don't know the man. The man doesn't like going about with protocol and security. Do I have security? The answer is yes. Can I afford to employ a protocol officer? The answer is yes. But I like my quiet, simple life. So all those things we did as governor So monorail, what was remaining for the monorail to be completed, we bought even the coaches. It was just one more station, and they abandoned it. What else didn't we do? Okay, we gave we built 4 or 5 new secondary schools, but it was supposed to be one per local government at 4 billion per school. 1,000 students in each school, 2 children in a room, 25 children in a class, computers, Indians. We brought Indians from India to teach them. Why? Indians, after we did a study, we discovered that there were no teachers, no science teachers in Nigeria. That's why we lack enough scientists. So we hired art teachers in Nigeria and then hired science teachers. But we didn't just hire science, we hired an agency to teach, to manage those schools. And we paid them 800 million naira a year per school. Why? Because the students were not paying school fees. So the 800 million was inclusive of school fees, and they were boarding. So if you're boarding, you are feeding them and all that. We had teachers' quarters in each of the secondary schools. So every teacher was quartered, had his own accommodation. In each hostel, you had stores. So if your parents had given you, and your parents are not expected to give you more than 100 naira to 200 naira, you want to buy anything, you bought from the shop. You didn't need to go outside. The place was fenced. What else did we do? I've talked about power. I've talked about security. Obviously, everybody knew it was bad when I came. By the time we put on the Israelis, everybody ran away. Port was safe. We got in an Israeli company. We were paying them 1 billion naira a month, and you could drive without police or army. And people were asking how. And all the Israelis did was give you intelligence. In that house are 20 criminals. They own 15 guns. They have 1,000 grams of ammunition. When do they sleep? They sleep at 2. They wake up at 4. They rob at 5. They will rob at so junction tomorrow morning. So you carry them. So we sanitized the state and provided the people their own resources. That's why tomorrow, jump into a taxi in Port Harcourt and ask them about governance in Port Harcourt and hear what they will say. Okay, so back to Abuja. The responsibility in Abuja was, look, you need to develop the maritime sector because there was huge crime in the maritime sector. You couldn't enter into our water. We are judged as the second, when we came, we were the third in terms of crime in the water. By the time we had done 2-3 years, we were number 1. The first was Somalia. America cleaned up Somalia. The Gulf of Aden became the first, well, they were second. By the time we knew it, Nigeria had jumped to the first. And I told the president, we need to bring in people. We brought in Israelis. Again, their job was, look, buy the following equipment. So we bought 17 boats on our water. We bought a ship that carries helicopter. We bought 2 helicopters and an aircraft. Flew around the water. By the time we knew we had provided security, now everybody's benefiting. Oh, but Nigerian water is safe. I listened to what IMO Secretary General said the other day. They didn't want to see us before, but he came to Nigeria and said, congratulations, Nigerian water is safe. It's that project. So we cleaned the water. I had a face-off with late Captain Husa because we were making business and money out of the security. So they have what looks like a motor park in the water. Any vessel coming to Lagos must wait there. And for every day you paid 1,500 naira. At the beginning you paid $8,500. At the first day you arrive, $2,000. Subsequently, 1,500. They'll keep you for 30 days with the Navy. After 30 days, they will all escort you to. So they were making huge amount of money. I said, no, it won't happen. Now that is not happening in the water. If you're coming, you just straight to the seaport you're going to. You're not waiting anywhere for anybody to escort you. To escort you for what? We achieved that. Then we looked at the railways. We said we have to rebuild and revive our railways, right? And we did. We started with completing what President Goodluck Jonathan started in the Kaduna-Abuja rail, which was abandoned. We completed it and put coaches on the track. Then we focused on Lagos because our target was to do Lagos-Kano. So we asked for money from China to do Lagos Kano. They gave us only Lagos Ibadan. By the time I left, we were negotiating from Ibadan to Abuja. Then we again got them to agree to give us money for Port Harcourt, Meduguri. By the time I left, they didn't give us money. So what I did, the money from the budget, I started Port Harcourt Aba. They finished track laying in Port Harcourt Aba. The problem with that is that they've not done this. They've not done the stations. I don't know why they commissioned it without doing the stations. Because if you can, people, if you're from Port Harcourt or Aba and you see the stations on Lagos Ibadan, you'll be jealous. They're beautiful stations and big stations. But the one of Port Harcourt Aba, there are no stations. They will say they have no money. That's true because the Chinese have not given us money. But then, if I were to be the minister, I would look for local funds to complete at least the 2 stations. We tried the development of 2 new seaports, one in Bonny and one at Ikorodu. We completed the seaport in Lekki, started by me, finished by me. And that's the first seaport in Nigeria. Because what you have in Lagos, Apapa and Tinkan, and Port Harcourt and Warri and Onne, they're not seaports, they are river ports, because they tee off the ocean into a river. So the first seaport is the one in Lekki. When I came, the people that had this thing from Obasanjo's regime came and told me for 11 years they've been trying to build this seaport and nobody has given them approval. I said, why? They said they don't know. I chased it. I was fought by the managing director of MPA. And I said, no, I'm the Minister for Transport. I insist that this seaport will be built. I had to even go with them to Beijing to sign as witness on the loan they were taking. Because they took a loan to build it. Not federal government, they took. I signed as a witness. They finished. I chased them that they must complete it. By the time I was leaving, it was completed. We got an agreement with the Chinese to build, and it was not part of the project. I said, instead of giving me the bribe, people would have given me, use the money to build. One, a university in Daura to train Nigerians on railway transportation, railway engineering. Second, a factory in, what is this place, near Lagos, where you manufacture coaches and locomotives in the future. But for now, they should be assembling. All those things have been abandoned since we left office. But the factory is there. If any day you want to see it, just hang on, just take the train from Lagos to Ibadan. You see it. Those are things we achieved by virtue of the position that Nigerians gave to us. Like I said, it is not compassion, it is passion. Passion for your job. So you wake up in the morning, babe, I'll see you later in the day. And babe, you see her about 12:01. That's when you're running back from work. So you come down. We visited all our sites literally every month. The Chinese didn't want to do that factory because it's not their business. Their business is to build railway. And they're building that. I said, no, you can't build that. And you still expect Nigerians to be importing and buying from you. So the agreement is simple. The next 10, 20 years, we'll buy from you, but here. So the first 5 years, you assemble here, we buy from you with our local currency. Right? So for 5 years, you assemble from here. The next 5 years, you are going to manufacture from here. You're not going to assemble anymore. So we can help you to diversify the market. So as many countries in West Africa and Africa are building rail lines, we tell them to buy from here, but our local, instead of buying from overseas. So the guys built. Unfortunately, I hope they're not regretting it because nobody's addressing them. Because they built, it's completed. But what again to give them the incentive was that, okay, so we gave them a contract of about how many? We had to buy about 200 coaches and about 20 or 20 something locomotives. I can't remember now. So we said, okay, do 5% overseas in China, we'll import it. The rest, 95 or 80 something percent, you assemble in Nigeria. So you see, that gave them a market that at least we gave them a contract to supply us. Instead of going, we could have gone somewhere else to buy it. After all, Bangladesh was offering us their own to buy. But I was ashamed that South Africa was producing, Bangladesh was producing, Nigerians can't produce. And these are our contemporaries. Running to where? I'm not an athlete. I walk. I'll be 60 next year, so I don't run again. Well, occasionally I run, but if I do 26 kilometers a day when I go out for exercise, out of which about 10 I jog, 16 I walk. So if that's the running you're talking about, yes, I do exercise. Well, don't worry about politics. Focus on realities. Reality now is okay. I think this house is running on diesel now. If the diesel finishes, what happens? There was a place I went to, and I was shocked. My friend gave me his guest house in Lagos. Because accommodation in Lagos now is 500,000 naira a night. And in fact, after the day he introduced me to his guest house, I was writing an exam in Lagos for 30 days. And I said, 30 days? You spend 1 point something million naira a day? That's about 30 something million naira. Where would I get that kind of money? They said, move to my guest house. So many big men. But I looked at what happened one night when I slept there recently. That was about 2 weeks ago. I went there. So I went to Lagos. I had to stay in the guy's house. 8 p.m. NEPA has taken light. They didn't put on the generator till 6 a.m. And I needed to go down. So I called them, man, when are you going to put the generator? That's when they put on the generator. And as soon as everybody went to work, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., they put off the generator. I said, if you put off your generator here now, I was telling my wife, they say hunger is killing us. If not, we have adopted their policy that when you're going to bed, you switch off your generator. When you don't need it in the afternoon, you don't put it on. But I'm telling you, if those rich men can adopt that economic policy, it means that things are very hard. Because before, you should have 24-hour power supply by putting on your generator. Anyway, I have no regrets. I absolutely have no regrets. Not even helping to support Buhari. Whether you disagree with him and the way he governed or not, I have no regrets. The most important thing is, at the time that I took the decision to support Buhari, I thought we were salvaging Nigeria. That was what informed my decision. They were not personal. They were not intended for personal benefits. They were intended to revive what I thought was in Nigeria not going in the right direction. Maybe I was wrong or not, but that was my reason for supporting Buhari. And I have no regrets in anything I have done. I honestly don't know. Trust me, I don't know. I have disagreed with the youth a lot. The reason for disagreeing with them is, for Christ's sake, if we are bad, and I don't see the change in you, say, where is Nigeria heading to? We should see a difference between the old and the new. But I'm not seeing it. Maybe I'm wrong. Don't forget. There are a few persons. In fact, I like the guys who are in the fintech and all that. But politically, 90% of Nigerian politicians are there as a source of employment to get their income. Legally. And those who are young men who are joining the same. Who are the talks you saw in Port Harcourt? Are they old men? It drives me crazy. So the only way I say sin, that's why I don't like going to Port Harcourt, because it drives me crazy. You land at the airport, okay? So you come out to the road. Don't forget that road was rebuilt by me. Okay, it was hired by Odele. Then I completed it. I completed from airport to Owerri. Odele did from Rumokoro to the airport. Okay, so you turn left. The first village that hits you is a primary school. Completely abandoned. The solar panels are destroyed, the offices, the toilets, everything. So does that keep you sane? The answer is no. So when I go to Port Harcourt, I don't go out because I will almost go mad. That's why 1-2 days I've run out of Port Harcourt. So you see the primary schools have been destroyed. On the left is a health center abandoned, overgrown by weeds. Hi. When we were there, every primary school had a contractor, nominated by the villagers or by the PTA. That's what I call Parent Teachers Association. Now we include the community. So the job of the contractor is a child goes into the toilet, as he comes out, you clean the toilet. So we had a clean environment. The same with the health center. There's a doctor. We introduced payment of hospital bills. How do you pay it? Doctor sees a patient, he doesn't charge the patient, he bills the government. At the end of the month, you pay him. Is that money we use to run the health center? The same with the primary school. We pay school fees to the head teacher. So we say, yeah, free education, but free education is not those ones of you don't pay school fees. Anybody say they should go. No, no. The money that those children would have paid is paid to the school, so that you won't, I'm going to buy chalk. I went to Ministry of Education to look for chalk. No, you have money. Okay, first I've seen a lot about Iberi TV. I don't know for Iberi TV and the viewers. I wish you God's blessings, and I need to appreciate what you're doing. I need to know what you're trying to achieve to be able to say that you need to do more. You need to communicate more with Nigerians. It's not enough to give a word, right? And I'll tell you why it's not enough. Two universities approached me with a PhD, and I refused. University of Port Harcourt and University of Jos. And I said to them, the other one I took was University of Sokoto because obviously the Sultan was on me, the governor Wamaku, the speaker, Tamboa. I didn't have a choice. Yes, sir. I don't know whether there's another one too, but anyone that I did, you know that the forces were too many. If I'm not one given to awards. But I told them, both University of Port Harcourt and University of Jos, you want to give me recognition? They said yes. A PhD? They said yes. Wait until I leave office. So how many of them have approached me since I left office? If you feel I have, don't give me, Governor Amaechi. Oh, so you expect we respond by giving money or all that. No. If you think I have achieved a lot, when I leave office, come, I will accept the PhD. But any recognition given me when I'm in the office, you're not giving it to Amaechi, you're giving it to the governor of Rivers State or the minister of transport. But this one was when I was governor. And I've left governorship how many years now? Nobody has approached me with a PhD now. Right? So, award is not the issue. Communicate more with the people. Ask them, what is this poverty about? Who are you voting for? Why are you voting for the people you are voting for? Why did they come back and give you money? And now they've increased it from 4,000 to 20,000 naira, and you take. And 20,000 naira can't last you for 1 week now. If they rig you out, what have you done to stop the rigging? Why have you not resisted the election? These people are employing themselves. You don't matter. The reason why government don't care about you is because you don't matter. At the end of the day, they know what you use to get your votes if at all the elections are actually clean. They know you will do nothing. That's why I said to you, I'm not, it's not about politicians, it's about the citizens. I'm not talking because I'm tired of the citizens. They need to take their destiny in their hands, and you help them because your communication is essential. If your communication becomes financial, most people will run away. You have to make that sacrifice that makes you to be recognized. But if you're pursuing politicians you're giving politicians award and you expect them to bring money and all that, you will be very irrelevant in the future. But to be relevant, people must recognize you as having identified with them.